Amongst the thousands of products made from hemp, one of the most extraordinary is Henry Ford's plastic car. Built in 1941, it contained cellulose fibers derived from hemp, sisal, and wheat straw. The plastic was lighter than steel, yet could withstand 10 times the impact without denting. Forgotten facts like these were revealed by Jack Herer in his landmark 1986 book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes.
Organic genius.
Today, Jack continues his passionate crusade, spreading the word of hemp's little-known benefits.
The hemp seed dissolves all the cholesterol or plaque in your arteries, and we made that illegal. That's what our smart politicians, now obviously they didn't know this information, because if they knew this information and made it illegal, then politicians would have to be jailed for being criminally insane.
Not many people in the world knew that hemp was marijuana. When I started out in 1973, it was the news to me. I'd heard that it had been called hemp, but I never really understood that. I never got any connotation in my mind that gave me pictures of what that meant. And hemp is always been marijuana, but when the government outlawed it, they didn't outlaw it as hemp. They outlawed it as marijuana, Mexican colloquialism, a slang, low-class word for marijuana, and they used that as an official English language word. And they didn't even tell the people they were outlawing hemp. It's legal in some of the countries to grow hemp for fiber. And in France, this woman whose name is France Perrier, Madame France Perrier, she builds about 300 houses a year using hemp and cement lime, and she makes a thing called isocyanver. And she mixes the lime with hemp herbs, the leftover parts of the hemp plant after the fiber's been extracted. And hemp does this amazing thing. It turns to stone, it petrifies. And so when you mix the lime and hemp herbs together, you get something stronger than cement at 1/6 the weight.
C'est-à-dire que dans un premier temps, j'ai cherché à pétrifier les végétaux, c'est-à-dire à minéraliser les sèves. Et puis ensuite, j'ai trouvé des archéologues qui m'ont dit avoir vu des sites mérovingiens et des sites égyptiens qui avaient été vraisemblablement faits de ces mêmes techniques.
Madame Perrier has had thousands of prospective orders for her houses from all over Europe. But like so many others, she is held back only by the restrictions on hemp production. But hemp for paper and building materials are just two aspects of the plant's rediscovered uses. They may not be haute couture, but all these clothes have been made from cannabis fiber, and it's in the fashion and textile markets that hemp is predicted to make a highly profitable comeback. These bales of hemp cloth are some of the first to be imported into Australia from China, one of the few countries still growing and weaving cannabis fabric on any scale.
So just make sure you match it with the right batch.
Hemp is many times harder wearing than the toughest denim, yet the fabric can be just as soft and comfortable as cotton.
Right, this is the new pattern block we've been working on, which is one of the things I wanted to discuss with you.
Along with Melbourne fashion label Slam, Andrew Catalaris has produced a range of hemp jeans and streetwear, the first step in satisfying a growing retail demand.
Well, this has been washed 123 times.
120.
123. And
when we tell people that it's sort of made out of cannabis, I mean, people have no idea that it was ever used for garments before. They think it's a completely new thing. So when you tell them it was, you know, that even Levi's were made all from cannabis originally, they usually got a fairly shocked reaction to it. It's got a huge potential because it can be used in really high quality designer garments, straight through to everyday garments as well, streetwear, they wear everything.
We've had a really good response, and as far as selling, they're selling very well. I mean, I can't put it this way, we can't supply as much as we could sell.
In the sprawling plains of Western New South Wales, Andrew Catalaris sees the potential for a hemp industry that could rival the massive cotton industry, which is beset with environmental problems. Andrew's views are backed up by Hans Waldering, a cotton grower and agronomist with Australia's largest agricultural consultancy.
Well, we're pretty happy with our cotton gross margins. I mean, we know that.
Waldering estimates the gross margins of hemp could be 4 times greater than cotton.
I've spoken to a number of clients who are irrigators, broadacre irrigators, and they're pretty excited about it, really. We'll head out there tomorrow and we'll go and have a talk to a few of them and see what they think.
Good. Well, we've probably got the expertise to grow it really well. You know, we've got good gear and we're a pretty efficient industry, well, particularly cotton growing, but not only cotton, soybeans and sorghum growers are all pretty efficient. I'd say it'd be quite a simple matter to grow the stuff. I don't think you'd have any trouble getting blokes to switch. If you can sow the gross margin, say 3 or 4 times as much profit as cotton or soybeans, you would have no problems in getting people to grow it.
The cotton industry is one of the largest consumers of agricultural chemicals in the world. While cotton profits are volatile, strains on the environment are growing with each crop.
In terms of the pesticide issue, hemp will be of benefit. A lot of irrigated crops do have a fairly high dependence on chemicals, and hemp, it would appear, has a very low to nil requirement for chemicals, and a lot of farmers look forward to that, both from a reduction in cost aspect and also to reduce the chemical load on their farms and on the environment. I believe if the end uses for hemp, which are the paper, the fibre and the ethanol end uses, are successfully commercialised, I think we could see hemp as a billion-dollar crop for the turn of the century for Australia.
And you've also been putting together in Northern Beaches. What's that you've been doing?
Yeah, so there's a number of things there, and they both stem from the same well. Like I was saying to you earlier in the conversation, that I felt I needed to do something, and at some point you build up and you've got to do something, and joining a political party was part of that, because I felt I needed to, that was the next step. It's all right to be blocking, you know, coal ports and being on sailing ships, but you still feel afterwards that nothing's changing, and the system needs to change and the people need to change. So I joined a particular political party that I felt best matched my world vision, and worked with that. And as part of that, I've been that's where I started doing forums on climate change. And the forums have been run in a non-political fashion, but the political party's banner was not involved. It was more me trying to get people to understand what was happening, what they need to do, and how they go about it. And they've followed a number of tacks. How it happened was just me deciding to do it. And I wrote a letter to the paper saying I was going to do it, and the local paper, the Manly Daily, decided that was important. And so it became front page news, and they just ran with it from there, and I ran from it. They're going, oh my God, this is happening, and I ran with it. So I've done a large forum on climate change. I had some really good speakers, because I'm not an expert.
Like who?
I had a local coastal engineer called Angus Gordon, who's just a brilliant person I've not met before, but his knowledge and understanding of climate change is great, especially from a coastal perspective, which is important for a Northern Beaches coastal community, because it was a local forum. I had Greenpeace come along, Ben Pearson spoke, and he gave sort of the environmentalist angle. And I had Kirsten Hebbert come along, who was a coastal planner, and she specialises in planning for climate change and the impact it's going to have on the coast. Now my next round of forum is going to be the economic impact of climate change. Well, the economic impact as it relates directly to businesses, because the way I think it's going to happen is we're going to feel the economics of it first. So the impact on businesses is going to hit before our beaches are inundated by water. We've got large companies like Swiss Re Insurance who have at least 3 climatologists on staff doing climate modelling, and Swiss Re basically dictate all insurance prices around the world. So at some point businesses are going to have to factor in to their own insurance what they're doing to mitigate their impact on climate, and that's going to happen in the very near future. And then so their insurance costs will start rising if they're not doing anything. Then when carbon trading really takes off, they have to understand how their business is affected by all these rising costs and what they need to do to reduce their impact on their mechanic shop or bookshop or whatever it is they're running. It's going to impact everybody.
Okay. 5 years from now, what would you want to be doing?
Yeah, it's very hard to say. I used to have long-term visions, and now I'm thinking day by day what I'm working on right now. My focus right now is climate change. this election, my business, which I'm still running and still making money off on the side, really almost. But I guess in 5 years, like I say, I'd like to be in Parliament, either state or federal, as a representative of my party, making a huge difference and making our politicians who are blindly trying to continue business as usual realise that those days are long gone.
Okay.
And for a sustainable population, a sustainable economy, we need to do something different.
Would you want to be Prime Minister one day?
The 17-year-old in me says yes. Me now, yes, I would, I guess. But I'd have to a lot of learning to do first. It's a big job. But by the time I guess I get there, you're looking at 10, 15 years, so by then I'll probably be ready. Certainly the arrogance and brashness of youth in me says yes. Ask me in 5, 10 years' time what I think.
You might go and do more outside of politics.
I'd rather have a life and surf a lot more. As I've found being an election campaign now, it takes up your entire life. Even while I might not agree with a lot of politicians, I certainly empathise with the amount of running around they do. You lose all your time. Even as a candidate, you want it here, you want it there, you want it here, you want it there. So you are really giving yourself to the community. Whether you're good at what you're doing or bad, you're still giving yourself to the community. And yeah, it's definitely different to any other kind of job or life you might have.
Huge commitment.
Yeah.
Huge commitment. Craig, thank you so much. So I hope you've enjoyed the program. I think we'll probably hear more about Craig in the future one way or another. You know the website, www.conversationswithrobyn.com. Click into the recordings and you'll see upcoming topics, guests, times and stations. Until we're with you again, take care. Craig, thank you so much.
Thank you, Robyn.
All righty.